Okay, I think I'm live. So this is going to be a super quick and dirty stream. I might not even hit 10 minutes, but I wanted to share some of the process that I'm going through right now with tomorrow I am doing a Hackster Café interview with Bunnie Huang, who is an incredible person who does tons of work around open and privacy focused and verifiable and trustable hardware devices, including this latest device, the Dabao evaluation board for the Bao Chip 1X, which is focused around being scrutable, like maximally scrutable, basically. uh, so you can inspect it and tell for sure what is on the chip, with a much greater degree of visibility than you can with most hardware objects that you get. So part of Bunnie's goal with this board and the Bao chip on which it's based is to make it a lot easier for people to have a standard of this type of investigatable, inspectable electronics, where people can verify at the user end that what they're getting is what it says it is, and it does what it says it does, and making that much more accessible and standardized across the tech industry. So this has some really cool features, including that the chip on it, the Bao chip, is designed to be viewed in infrared so that you can inspect its contents. And Bunnie gave a talk about this at hardware.io, hardware security conference, just a couple of months ago, and I've been going through this tonight in preparation for that talk, and for our interview tomorrow. And it lit up my brain because this is he was describing this process that I've done a bunch of times with cameras, where you mod them to do infrared and near infrared imaging, and that's basically the same thing that he's doing, but he's got an open source way of doing this that is super adjustable, and there's like super fancy microscopes and stuff that you can do this with. But I've done this before with cheap digital cameras. The one that I have right now is broken and I can't find it, so I've got this cheapo like USB supposed microscope that I bought probably 10 years ago off of the internet, and I'm going to try and do that same infrared mod that I did on those cameras on this one, because when I peer down the barrel, I can see a sort of reflective, I don't know if that's going to come through at all, it looks like a sort of reddish reflection off of there, and to me that indicates there might be an infrared filter on there, and if I remove it, I might be able to use this to inspect chips, including this like biochip thingy that I have from eFabless. No, this isn't a biochip. This is just a demo. Anyway, a custom chipboard from eFabless, which Bunnie says in the talk, these ones that are shiny are some of the best candidates because that indicates that it's basically bare silicon there. And if you have ones that have like a plastic casing or have a film or paint over them, they aren't going to work as well because the infrared light can't penetrate those. But apparently silicon is transparent to infrared, TIL. So I'm going to try and mod this, and I got a couple more things to show you for places to find info on this. You know what? I'm not even going to look at those. You can look in the description. I've got them all linked. Okay, I'll click through. I've linked my Mastodon thread where come back. There we go. Where I talked about these experiments with the webcam. First modded it back in like 2010, picked it up again at the start of 2025, end of 2024, and used it to take a bunch of photos of neon, which is just an excellent combo, because neon and incandescent lights will both show up in the near IR spectrum because they output a lot of heat, whereas LED light tends to not, so you get these really cool sort of isolated photos of the neon. Anyway, I've got a really ancient version of this mod, a tutorial for it, where you can also see this exposed film photo negative that's been developed as well, and I've got a whole page for it on my current website that is not from 2010, and I guess I've forgotten to put captions on there, but here are some like super ancient pics where you can see sort of these weird effects that it does on your eyeballs. So weird. And your veins and stuff look more translucent, this kind of incredible pallor, very strange and alien looking. Anyway, so also the other day, David and I did a new Dayglow episode where we talked about pocket pen testing platforms, and among those, I had this Flipper Zero, which I realized I can use as an infrared source if I use the built-in or one of the remote apps. So I've got some saved TV remotes in here, and I think I can either find an app that will let me just like shine the infrared LED remote constantly, or just take a peek with a flashing light and it'll be horrible. We'll see. Anyway, so now I'm going to try and dig into this camera before I'm rushing because my friends are having a virtual movie night tonight and I'm trying not to miss that. So we may not get all the way through it, but I'm gonna try, and I think it'd be interesting for people to see. So here we go. Here we have another potential light source. I might solder something together with these infrared LEDs. Why is the white balance doing that? Ah, stop. Why do you always make it orange? Anyway, so let's turn down the brightness here. I've got this cheapo USB supposed microscope type thing, and this chip from eFabulous. I've also got a batch of unidentified chips. I'm not sure what exactly these are, but I've had them for years and years, long enough to forget. These might also be from eFabulous, actually. So, but I'll show you real quick, because it'd be kind of cool to look at these under the infrared. Here we go. Oh no, I'm totally wrecking this. It's okay. We're nearly there. I do have somewhere some larger, like, whole silicon wafers that I bought at the Evil Mad Scientist Going Away garage sale, but I may not be able to find those tonight, so at the very least I'll have some stuff to look at. Oh, these are the, yeah. So some of these are BGA side up and some of them are just silicon side up. So we'll have some cool stuff to look at. Silly side up. Anyway. So first order of business is just to see how I can take this thing apart. It's got a bunch of regular light LEDs, which won't be optimal. But the thing is that, like, for this, I don't have to block out the visible spectrum light. For the mods I was doing before, I was blocking out the visible light, like this LED light and such, so that you got more of that cool sort of isolated effect and the sort of eerie effect on the skin and eyes. So it's actually not a problem to have the visible stuff there as well, but it might create some shininess and reflection that I wouldn't like. Anyway, I'll have to deal with that whether it's infrared or regular light. So I may have to disable those, but for now let's just jump in here. I attached this with some sticky tape because it was sliding around a bunch. I've just got to detach it here, so. It's also got a little manual focus, which is kind of great. If you want to look up what this is, you can find it. Scope UTP 200X003MP handheld digital microscope. Anyway, let's get this out of here. I'm gonna try and derail myself as little as possible. Okay, here we go. Gotta use. I need another hand here. Is what I need. It's got the spring mount as well as the tape on there, sort of holding it in. You know what? I'm just gonna avoid that. I'm gonna see if I can I unscrew this, or is it like adhered in there with heat or something? Oh, no, it just came out when I pulled it. That's great. So we're already partway there. I think I do need to remove this from the mount. Get out of there. Ah! I'm gonna wreck something if I keep doing that. Okay, well. Now let's shine some light down there and have a look at what we're dealing with. Ooh. I want to see if I can get that to reflect off of there for y'all to see. It's gotta be kind of straight on. Whatevs. Okay, so I'm gonna try and take this thing apart. I really want to get it out of this mount, so I'm just gonna flip back to me for a second. Pardon my not super professional attire. I am just doing this kind of last minute, and it's warm. Aww. Isn't this what you come here to see? Is me fighting against double-sided sticky foam tape? Yeah. It's okay. My dad would say, you just gotta be smarter than the tape. Oh! That's my alarm for the movies. Let's see how people are doing. I might delete this if I don't actually get anything open. Let's see. Okay, not yet. Oh. Alright. I gotta respond to that at some point, but for now, I'm good on time. Which was the main thing. Haha, there we go! Using tools, making my hominid ancestors proud. I mean, I'm a hominid too, but... Okay. Right on the barrel. Now, I gotta see how I can get... I need to use my flashlight again. This is tough to see inside. Oh, it's got a hole like... This one might not work. It's really recessed in there, is the trouble. Typically with like cheap webcams and stuff, it's like right, and cheap digital cameras, it's right at the surface. In fact, I had some issues with one of the cheap digital cameras I bought for this recently to make a new one. The issue was that the infrared filter seemed to be just like a coating on the lens itself rather than a separate thing you can remove, which is basically how this hack works. So I'm going to see about this other one that I have over here. BRB. Alright, so now I have found this other cheapo one, and I found a regular webcam that I made horrible years ago by sticking some rainbow LEDs on with hot glue. This one I think is just a regular webcam, but I think I might have removed a filter on it already. Let's see if I can plug it in and maybe get some infrared to show up on it. I'm going to switch you to the horrible webcam in a second. I do have some, like, magnifying lenses I could stick on this, if need be, you know, like ones that are designed for phone cameras and stuff. Let's see, so I'm going to... Okay. See if I can switch over to this other crappy camera. Yes! Okay. Haha! Alright. Wow. Now, does this show up? It kind of does. No. That was just reflecting. Okay. That does not work. Does it actually have a filter, or is it just a crappy camera? Who can say? Let's see. I don't see a filter in there. Another thing I might try is Raspberry Pi makes these cameras that have no infrared filter on them from the start. They're called the no IR ones, I think, or vice versa. I'll have to look it up, but I have a number of Pi cameras around. Okay, here we go. This one has a little shiny reflecto. It's sort of a green-red reflecto, so if you see a sort of greenish or reddish reflection, that often means that you can do it. Okay, so I'm going to try, and well, first I'm going to remove this thing from the table. And I'm going to switch you over to the desk camera. And then I'm going to see if I can use tweezers to unscrew this thing. So here is candidate number 2. Let's get this out of the way. And I'm going to try and see if I can like unscrew this bad boy off of here. Using tweezers. I might have to use more beefy tweezers, because these are definitely not beefy. I don't actually know if this is supposed to unscrew. Oh ho! It is unscrewing a bit. Or is it just rotating? Ah! Actually, you know what? Oh no, this is the focus, so it's definitely not doing that. Let me get a beefier tweezer. Maybe I'll just use this guy. That's a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway. No, this doesn't open wide enough. Okay. Oh, I have an actual needle nose plier. Fancy that. It's a smooth one, but this might work. I'm hoping it's not just like rotating inside of there. But sometimes this is like, you know, if you screw it in and out, sometimes that like affects the focus. In which case, if I screw it out far enough, it might allow me to remove that filter. This does seem like it's... Ha 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 ha! Yes! Jackpot! Okay, check it out. You can see the shiny on there? A little bit. Come on, there we go. That is the filter. And I should be able to remove that. I'm just looking at it close up real quick. It's honestly really pretty. It's just a lovely color. Let me see. It is glass, that's nice. I'm gonna show you my face again because I'm gonna look at this real close up. And every time it's gonna give you the chime that it's switching to the phone camera. Yes, this does look removable. I just need something thin enough, which I think... Ooh! Okay, a whole plastic assembly is coming out. That's probably not good. That's probably the lens as well. Let me show you what I've got right now. It's kind of like tilted up out of there. All right. I'm gonna see if I can just sort of like, it does, ha ha ha, yes! Okay. Yes, success. I'm so excited about this. I still will have to solve the lighting half of the problem, but having like a super close-up camera that will have no infrared on it is very exciting to me. So you can see this little plate of glass, little circular guy, green/red. Yeah. It's honestly really gorgeous. I know I haven't said that 1,000 times already. And I'm going to shove this lens assembly back down in there. You can see it, I kind of like levered it out a little bit. I'm just gonna press with the tweezers. There you go. Get it reseated. Beautiful. That seems fine. So now I'm gonna twist this to the left some more, just to make sure I don't cross thread it. Let me check the thread direction actually. Yeah, twist it to the left some more, make sure I don't cross thread it when I put it in. It should, there we go. Uh-oh. Okay. It's gonna take a little more finesse. Better call Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars joke. Ah! Okay. It hates me. I'm gonna look up at this close-up. If you can't tell, this, the desk stuff is about 2 feet in front of me, so when you're getting a close-up view, I am getting the distant landscape Catherine Heathcliff type of situation. No, that's crooked. Is that not quite straight in there? That felt like it's seated. Nope. Lol. Okay. Gorgeous. And I can just hand twist this. Ah! I'm gonna save this little filter for future uses. I think it was further down in there. Yeah, there we go. Just using my needle nose, guys, to screw this back in. It's got these little sort of almost like a knurling, but it's just a little more resistant than my fingers can do. I don't remember exactly how far in it was, but I think it was about like this. Yeah, okay, it stopped. That is a good indication. Okay, so we might be able to get this done in like 15 minutes. How long has it been? It's very warm in here. So this one also has a little stand. I'm going to put it on the stand, and then I'm going to see if I can switch you over. Oh, I'm making a big old problem for myself here. Okay. And then we're going to see if... Oh, you know what? I also need a base material that isn't super reflective and bright. So how about... I must have a piece of paper somewhere. Oh, this cork. Good stuff. And I think this is just like a little end cap that keeps you from hitting the object with the lens. So let's see if we can... I'm going to plug it in. It's probably going to blare light at us, but I think this one actually has a brightness adjuster. So, oh, and a camera button thingamajig. Oh, sorry about the microscope situation there, or microphone. All right, so this one definitely does have visible light on it. Let's see what happens when we plug it in. USB camera! Cool. So here's the cork. We can focus. It's not a microscope, but it's close enough. All right, so now I'm gonna assume that there's definitely not much like incandescent light or non-LED light hitting this right now, so it's not going to do a great job. I'm actually going to back this up a little bit, make it higher so I have a little more room to operate. And there we go. Then I can tilt it a little bit more, get rid of some of that glare. Okay, so this is what it looks like as is. Notice how there's no writing or etching or anything on the surface there. Okay, now I'm going to try and illuminate it. This is probably not going to work. Well, let me see what happens when I just try to like do infrared underneath here. Does it see it? Not really. Can it see through the... Okay, I'm going to detach this from its stand and see if I can see through the infrared shielding on here. Kind of. Sorry, this is real dirty. Okay, that actually doesn't seem to be doing much. Oh, but I would need infrared light still, I think, on it. Okay, so let's see. What can I do for infrared light? Back in the day I had a thing I made for that. Okay, let me see. Oh! Okay, we're going to use fire. Because you know what's really incandescent? Flame. BRB. So I have a few different ideas for, oh yes, so the whole deal with the flipper that I've got here is because it has I've got a couple apps for using it as a remote control, which is what I'm trying to do. Let me see if I can just find, is there like a universal remote in here? Like the flipper has, it does do stuff. So let me see if I can switch this over. I was trying to see if I could use this to illuminate because it's got a remote function. Okay, so that's good. That is actually working. Yay! It's picking up infrared light. That's gorgeous. Now, let's see what happens when I do some fire. Oh, you know what? Okay, so how is this gonna work? Am I just gonna lightly, I'm not gonna lightly toast it, but I'm gonna see it. Maybe the cork base was not the best idea here. What happens if I put this torch underneath the... Whoa! I mean, you could probably see that under visible light anyway. Don't do any of this at home, please. Just ignore what I'm doing. Okay, we're gonna try with the remote again. Let's see. I wish I could, I might try and like, can I block or dim? Ah ha ha ha! There we go. Okay, so now the scope's LEDs are off. Can we see anything in here? I think I'd have to get a lot closer, and I'm going to try some angles and stuff. So let's get this further down. I'll still need space for the light to get in there, but I think if I re-angle it, it'll be fine. Okay. Oh, and I gotta vote on a movie real quick, so I'm gonna sign off in a sec, but I'm very excited that we managed to get this working, and then maybe by the time of the interview tomorrow, I'll have something actually going. And I'll have some stuff to test that, this really isn't showing much. Maybe it's, I mean, it is very, very small, obviously, but, I'm gonna experiment some more to see if I can do it on the air, just to have a little bit of a live demo. I do love a live demo. Okay, so here are the little... Wow, look at those. Whoa, these two actually can almost just... Oh, of course, okay. Maybe I was looking at a side that it does, like, have a coating on it. So maybe these ones do not. And these actually look like... Maybe one of those sides is meant to have, like, a BGA ball grid array on it. Let's see, I'm trying to illuminate it more with the infrared, but... Honestly, these are just... Look at this, look how gorgeous this is. Ah, so those LEDs still are on. I want you to look at the chips. There we go. So this... Wow, look at that. I'm not sure how much of this is like what you would expect under visible light versus... Well, you know what? We can compare maybe. Or I can just look at them. That is basically what they look like to my actual physical eyes right now. So I'm going to try once more with the flashy flash and see if we pick up anything more. But it's so brief, it really doesn't work. For tomorrow, I'm definitely going to try and figure out a different light source. I'm going to try one more time with this with this torch because I'm weird and stupid like that. Wait a minute. I need to change the flame because right now the flame itself is barely visible, which means that of course it's not going to reflect off of the thing. Duh! Okay, I need like an actual candle or a lighter. I'm gonna find an actual lighter and see if that helps. This is still the wrong way to do this. I thought I had a lighter around here. Well, let's see. Yeah, off-camera fire sounds. I definitely have also these infrared LEDs. I think I'm gonna put these away for now, these toys, and I'm just gonna have a look at some other stuff tonight, and then you'll have to tune into the interview tomorrow to see if I am successful in making a super cheap DIY, almost instant infrared chip inspection camera hack. I'm gonna look for some more things to inspect underneath the infrared. I know I've got some dev boards that have like exposed silicon somewhere. Like some of these MEMS sensors and stuff, I think. No, because those are electromechanical. Anyway, I think I've got some other cool stuff to look at, and if all else fails, I've got some infrared LEDs that I can solder to a little board and have that as an actual, sane people's illumination strategy. We shall see. Oh yeah. Always good to have Ching on the stream. No worries if you miss it, but everyone, if you do come, you can drop your questions in the chat. I've got a lot more research to do around other cool stuff with the DABAO because Bunnie has also been working on there's this thing called BIO in this, which is like bow chip IO, which is roughly equivalent to sort of an open version of PIO that's on the Raspberry Pi RP2040 and RP2350. That is just making all this stuff more accessible, and you can read about it via the link in the description. This crowd supply campaign that just wrapped. So naturally, I reached out to Bunnie and I was like, "Hey, didn't Bunnie have something to talk about?" And like I looked at you like the other day, and like, no, I just missed it. Anyway, go check out that Dayglow episode if you want to see more Pocket pen testing platform stuff. There's this cool hardware.io talk that I'm partway through, and then decided to just go rage out on infrared for a minute. It's just a really great way to learn about stuff, I love doing these interviews. Anyway, enough rambling, but you can find all these links below. All right, have a good day, night, morning, evening time, and hack on.